And so instead of keep me up, you can still keep me up. Okay, you can still keep me up. I decided let's just open a YouTube channel because I love sharing you guys with those. I love sharing conversations on growth and health and wellness lifestyle. I love acknowledging your messiness. Say you want to throw an emotional tantrum, but I do believe in let's get up, girl. So I said, why not? Let us have a moment where we just get up. And this episode right here, for this episode, I just want to get straight to the point. I want to get straight to the conversation where we are addressing your messiness, your messy conversations, your messy friends, your messy inner self, and trying to figure yourself out. Own your messy self, but at the same time, we're all about self-awareness. We're all about personal love and growth. That's why we call it Just Growth Babe, a podcast YouTube channel with me. And comment below in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this conversation, on having more honest and sustainable conversations with your friends. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe for more on the growth opportunities, Just Growth Babe vibes, and just having an honest conversation about it's okay to throw a tantrum, but let's get up, let's get back into it, and let's try again. So this is a look at yourself in the mirror episode. Okay, this season, God bless my soul. Okay, I have run out of patience. I have run out of Kool-Aid to drink to try and understand you or cool myself down, whatever the case is. But as you know, this is my extended episode talking about life growth, personal development. But today I want to talk about understanding yourself. Okay, understanding yourself. As you guys will know, if you've been with me since the beginning of just getting on this journey, I started off by the accident at home made me be like, okay, like what do I do to bring out the worst qualities in people? And so now I have a greater self-awareness. Obviously, I do have some seasons, as y'all will know, when I don't want to grow, okay? I recognize this weak thing about me, but if I don't want to grow at that moment, I usually give myself a week and then I get irritated because then I know there's more things in life for me to continue to progress on. There's more life lessons in life for me to progress on. So let's get this over and done with. Let's grow through this growth opportunity, and let's move on in life. Okay, so today I want to talk about women. And it's only because I feel like it's meshed and merged in just a lot of like deep nuances. And so let's start with just talking about, how us women are not supporting each other in terms of like confidences, or in terms of each other, like just personal, confidence, and just having that, vibe to be a confident, vibrant woman. And I say this because I honestly do believe it reflects in so many areas of your life, like friendships, co-workers, just a lot. It spills over in a lot of places. As you guys will know, if you go and check out my latest blog post, I really went deep into it on part 5, which is part of the finale on dating. I was like, okay, hold up, wait a minute. Last time I spoke about the fact that women, let's say if you're not the dating type, but your friends tend to date and they had like heartbreaks, and you did that ritualization of the heartbreak with them, you experienced that heartbreak just from observing their hurt. You know what I mean? So their self-love cup spilled over into your cup. They started spilling over their juice. It was overflowing, the heartbreak, they're screaming, they're crying, they're agitated, whatever the case is. And then they start pouring that same feeling onto you and those same kind of beliefs onto you. So you guys definitely know, I said separate those ones. But then I was like, okay, but like, hold on a minute. This whole time I've been saying, take ownership for yourself. Understand your self-love cup. If your friend has a very distorted idea of like life, it doesn't have to be you. But there was something that's big that I've realized we're missing. Only because I just went through a difficult moment, and I wanted to do what a lot of people do. When you have a difficult friend, let's say if your friend has like this negative character trait about them, Let me give you an example. Let me use myself an example. Okay, I'm impatient. Okay, let's say, for example, I'm impatient, right? Instead of dealing with my impatientness, maybe the friend would decide, you know what, I'll stop hanging out with Zetu. You know what I mean? I'll stop hanging out with Zetu. I'll go and hang out with Sophia, because Sophia is more patient and she understands me. The problem with that is, and what I've started to say now is, and then I started to track all the conversation, and I was like, okay, hold up. Let's go back to the beginning. It's because then the same girl is going to find something irritating about Sophia and then move on from Sophia. Then you'll find something irritating about Tracy, then you'll move on from Tracy. Then you'll find something irritating about Nobile, and you'll move on from Nobile. You know what I mean? So we gain this habit of just like this ultimatum of like shifting people to the side instead of getting to the core of like what was happening. If you value, so let's backtrack from Bongombile, Sophia, Tracy. Let's come back to Zetu, okay? You recognize I'm impatient and you feel like I don't give enough time as a friend. Have those conversations, because by the time you're at Mobile, you start thinking, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'll just wait till I get married. This is why married people don't have friends, because I ain't got time to mess up. I ain't got time to explain to you what you're doing wrong as a friend. There are a couple of things that happens in that scenario. One, expectation. You haven't educated me, Zetu, how to treat you as a friend at that point. You know what I'm saying? So as opposed to saying, hey Zetu, you know what, I know maybe you're different with your other friends and I don't know how y'all resolve your issues, but I would really value more of your time. I think because when I'm with you, I feel more lonely when we hang out, because you don't give me the space. I don't feel like I have the space with you to discuss my issues. So what has happened there? You've stated the expectation that you had. You need more space, or you're asking for more space. I don't give you more space because maybe I'm rushed, I'm fast. And here's the funny thing, you know what I mean? Like, that actually true story. When I worked in the Oklahoma City a hotel, they used to call me Speedy. Then I noticed, I was like, that's not like that's not a joke. It's like they're saying slow down. So I used to come to work 30 minutes earlier so that I could spend more time with them, and it actually then improved the relationship. You know what I mean? So I was like, what am I doing anyway? I've got an extra hour. I might as well go spend it with my coworkers, because they keep calling me Speedy. That means I'm not, and they kept on saying it, they go Speedy. So I slowed down. So as a human being, if my coworkers have already called me Speedy, I'm too fast, and then in a friendship they say that, hey, you know what, you rush, you know what I'm saying? Then then that will give me that personal opportunity. So both of us have an opportunity here in this relationship to mold it for the benefit of myself as an individual, because then I can see it from a broader perspective, or have that responsibility to see it from that broader perspective that, hey, people generally call me fast. And then, once we get into an agreed upon rhythm, I can explain to you maybe why I'm a fast individual. But for you as a friend, I will consciously know that effort to slow down. Just in the same way as my coworkers in Oklahoma City would say, hey, they go Speedy. They stopped calling me Speedy when I spent an hour with them, because they were like, okay, oh my gosh, girl, you have a job to do. But they didn't recognize because I'm still trying to balance maybe my speed and my naturalness in being a fast person. I wanted to then still value, and I value those relationships, and I respect what you're saying, and I want to nurture those relationships because you are important to me. That will give you that signal. But we're not having those conversations. If somebody offends you, or if you're picking up something about somebody that irritates you, what I've seen is most common is people just walk away. And sometimes you need to educate both people. Now let me give you on my other perspective. So I'm the fast, impatient friend, but you're the friend who's always hurting, and now who puts your friend on a pedestal. You've been hurt a lot in life, whatever the case is. You dropped out of school, maybe one scenario, you could have dropped out of school, and then dropping out of school, you had to face a lot of difficult moments on your own. Maybe you had to grow up too fast. Growing up too fast is learning that rejection is normal in life. But then at the same time, feeling misplaced because now growing up too fast, you were placed in adult environments when you're still a child. It means that maybe you don't know how to give people the room to talk and give people the room to be themselves. So one example of that one would be you always talk about yourself. You know, you're always going to talk about, you know, at my job, they did this at my job again. They did that at my job. My coworker this, my coworker that. But then I come to you as a friend now and I'm like, okay, so we're slowing down, you know, and we're nurturing this relationship. And I'm like, hey, and I'm really having a difficult season and I want to talk about, just a new project that I picked up. It hasn't gone the way that I wanted to go through. What you don't realize in that moment, maybe the person's way of dealing with that is just laughing, making a joke to make me happy. And then when they see that I'm laughing, they go back to talking about their lives. And then my family did this and my family did that. At that point in time, again, like what I've said, we both have the responsibility to say, hey, you haven't given me, I don't feel as though I've been given the chance to really express how I feel about this latest project that I've done. And when I've picking up, you do this, and every time you do this, it makes me feel more lonely, or it makes me even wonder why you invited me out to this coffee place, because then we go back to talking about your life. When today is a really stressful day, a really stressful period for me, I'd really love to just, go over the situation with you. If I recognize that you are not going to be somebody who I can have these conversations with, and yet you say that and sometimes, and you know what, I think it's still okay to say, if let's say I'm talking to Sophia and she's the one who had that difficulty in life, and through that conversation she says, you know what, I don't know how to help you with that answer, and then she goes back to talking about her workplace. I feel like it's still okay to say, okay, I understand you don't know how to help me, but you don't even ask about other areas of my life. You completely shut down that topic, and then you go back to talking about your family and your coworkers, your coworker that, your coworker this. It's the same story, Sophia. We've been talking about your coworkers the same thing. Today, you completely shut down. You didn't even ask past the fact that you can't help me with my family. You don't even ask about other areas of my life. When that happens, I feel less significant in your presence, because you're supposed to be somebody I feel like who should care for me, but I have a coworker, like a stranger, who's filling that up. And so when I go through that, I go through like conflicting emotions, because I feel as though a friend should be there for me, and now I feel lonelier in your presence. What you're doing there is you're managing the conversation in stating that the situational, right? You don't make it a character thing. You're selfish. You're selfish. You only talk about yourself. You only think about yourself. No, remember I started saying that maybe she dropped out of school, and then because of dropping out of school, she had to grow up faster and then immerse herself in adult environments such as the workplace, where she's a child and having to do all these adult responsibilities, so people made her feel insignificant. And so as a result of that, maybe she talks so much about herself. She hasn't, because she's grasping for that yearning for somebody to listen to her, and yet now that it's become a permanent character trait. So you can talk about it in that situational thing where, hey, you cut me off, and go back to talking about yourself makes me feel more lonely than if I had to go and talk to some coworker and we talk about the sky. You know what I mean? Sitting with the coworker makes me feel more welcome than with you as a friend. In those moments, we're educating ourselves about who we are and what our needs are. Now, the difficult thing is I don't know, or you can't control. Let me say that. That's a better. You can't control whether Sophia will recognize that because of her yearning to feel included, she suffocates her friends with only talking about herself and never asking about everybody else. Because what happened? She immersed herself in an adult environment, and they never got to talk to her, ask her about who she is. Because like, first of all, who's this child here? And then when you never know, maybe every time she says, oh, I dropped her to school, I have a kid, they're like, so this now she's a useless person. You don't know how deeply those interactions that Sophia has gained have influenced her. But what you can do in the relationship that you have now, in that friendship that you have now, is make her understand that, listen, you could the way that the world works and the way that the people are, you could have there was never a point in time where you could control how people respond to the fact that you're a high school dropout who's now got a baby, right? However, I want you to understand that when you have friends, my understanding of friends is, hear me out when I have a problem. Hear me out when I have a problem, because that will make me feel included. And that's become like something like, it became really important to me, because we were sitting with a bunch of women and we were talking about these things, and every time I'm like, okay, but wait a minute. So you just dump this person, not talking to this person, not talking to that person anymore, and then moving on. You're not going to learn how to have these very constructive and very much needed conversations if you want to get married. So a lot of people are like, well, whatever, I'm just gonna I can't wait till I get married. And then just like, this is why people get married, because there comes a point where there's no point to having friends. That you are limiting your opportunity to grow as a person. And let me tell you something. This is a negotiative kind of conversation that you have with an individual, because you will have that kind of conversation in business when people shut you down the first time, or when your business partner is a bit hostile, has this you lose, I win mentality. But you see that this business opportunity is good. So if you're going to shy away from it, where there's no money involved, the stakes are only your heart and the vulnerability, because telling the person, hey, listen, every time I hang around you, you feel lonely, and you learn how to constructively have those conversations, it'll be so much easier for you to point out to a supplier, hey, you know what, you are a phenomenal supplier. 20 people sent me to you. They praised you, everything like that. But then they said you are very horrible, but better than everybody else. What I recognize from that is, you have this thing I noted from our conversations and from our agreement is still turning out not to be favorable. You know, and I actually sat in one of those meetings while I was listening to the MD talking. I was like, what? This is actually, you don't have to have these negotiative skills shouldn't only begin in the business arena. Imagine if we just generally had it in every facet of our lives. You know, a baby negotiates with you, mommy, I want to eat the candy now. And then you negotiate with the baby, okay, if you want to eat the candy now, I need you to finish your vegetables. You have those negotiative conversations right there. So I believe that for somebody who doesn't want to change, now there's gonna be that person who doesn't want to change. And one of the pastors actually said that. He was like, the reason why people don't want to get married low key is because they don't want to have these conversations, because being in relationships, they see the behind the scenes story of who you actually are as a person. Even if you choose, like, individually not to fully show that all of you, they will see fragrances of who you truly are. Oh, you are fast because this and this happened in your life. You're speedy because this and this happened in your life. You talk about yourself too much because this and this happened in your life. They will still get a fragrance of why you work in that kind of manner. And I believe that, let's say for people who don't actually want to get married, they don't want to go through that final eye-opening, oh, you are actually like this kind of person. that is really damaging, I think, personally, for your personal growth experience. And here's the reason why I'll say that. Because I believe that, let's say if you pray, I honestly have started to see this in a very deeply and nuanced way. That God, if you pray for like friends, or if you pray for like the right marriage, if you pray for the right business opportunities, God can give you all of that. But I remember when I was small in like Sunday school, they were saying, open my eyes, Lord, open the veils of my eyes. So what happens in those moments is, because of an unwillingness to hear other people, or because we're not having these conversations where we help each other grow in that exchange, you won't actually know how blessed you've been, because you still have the veil over your eyes. Successful people who run entire empires can still feel small because they haven't removed that veil of inferiority over their eyes. So why are you waiting for these big opportunities in life, such as like, I can't wait till I get married? Honey, your husband will be telling you. If your husband doesn't tell you, let's say if you are a very dominant, let's say if I were, for example, myself, sometimes I come across as a very dominant female, then I choose to marry a submissive and small-minded, like not submissive guy who's quiet, which I absolutely hate. But let's say if I did choose that route, your kids are going to call you the F out. They will start when they're 5, and you can still, discipline them and smack them and say, I'm the adult here. But at some point, they're going to be old enough, 18 and up or whatever, hopefully 18, not, like 12. But, and they will start telling you this is your problem. You talk so much about yourself because you haven't. And at that point, your kid is not even going to be there to say you talk only about yourself because you went through these hardships. Your kid doesn't care about that stuff. Your kid wants you to grow up. Why are you telling your child to grow up and yet you haven't grown up? You know what I mean? So I feel as though it magnifies itself because of this unwillingness to remove the veil from your eyes. So I really do believe, like, I'm at that season in my life where I feel as though, low key is just to ask God to, just to encourage you. Ask God, what is the veil covering my eyes at the moment? Like, what is the veil covering my eyes? What am I hindering myself from fully seeing and fully experiencing? And I'll tell you why. I was sitting with some other lady, and she was like, she was frustrated. She did like the wrong business deal. So, we're getting into an argument and stuff like that. Then she's like, you know what? I don't care. I can't wait to leave all of you guys anyway, and then start my own life and have my own house. And I was like, you literally have the biggest house in the area. And because of this veil over your eyes, the unwillingness to meet somebody halfway, the unwillingness to accept that we're not perfect. You're not perfect, and that's okay. You will grow till you die, or you can either grow till you die or fail to grow and die without having seen fully. But if you remove the veil through your eyes, you're like, you know what, my team is alright. I rush a lot of things because I'm a fast person, and I could slow down and fully take in what my team is saying to me and accept. Not this whole thing where you press the reset button and you smash things through the roof and you start a new business. No, it doesn't work like that. So it escalates in so many areas of your life. And sometimes your coworkers will say that to you. And in that moment, they can say, hey, you have this thing where you delete people's reports. I wish I had said that. You delete my reports, okay? You had to fight somewhere in your life, but I'm not fighting you. But you have this attitude of being fought, but you create the fights. Don't delete my reports that I've made. And then you're going to do that in your relationship. You'll cheat the partner in one way or another. Your partner can remain silent, but imagine now if you have kids, your kids are not, children are not silent people. Like kids are not silent people. I remember we had like just some, people that worked in my father's company and stuff like that. We on car allowance. My dad was on car allowance, and then he just bought a new Mahindra. The little 4-year-old walked into the car, and kids are so they insanely mirror you. Okay, so this kid now starts walking in like a adult. So like how? Oh, so really you're going to look at the 4-year-old because you're like, no, okay. I know how you as a 4-year-old act like and walk like, and then you as a 4-year-old mirroring your parent. The child goes all the way to the back of the car and goes, yeah, Vela, my dad said we're gonna get a better car than you. And I was like, what? And we all started laughing in the car like, wait a minute, now the baby just needs a beard and it's gonna literally be the dad, like, this is a joke, this is funny. And I personally feel like this is just a call to everybody. Just encourage yourselves. This is a call to everybody, encouraging yourselves. Take a moment and ask, what is the veil over your eyes? Because at some point, nobody is going to be responsible for your personal internal struggles than you. So I've gotten to the point where if I feel like I have a personal internal struggle, I tell you I have a personal internal struggle. And I'm so grateful that I have this one friend who says, okay, but we need to work through it, girl, because there's some hocus pocus coming out of your behavior right now. And and then we laugh at it. We understand it's an internal struggle that I have. I recognize it and I want to get better at it, because in life you want to progress, and I want to truly see the progress and truly see the blessings unfold. I don't want to receive blessings and then have a veil over my eyes because I haven't been able to fully recover and fully notice maybe these certain qualities are doing this and this in the areas of my life. So I've been sitting and marinating on this for this whole entire time, and I truly do believe, and I would love to encourage you guys, if have those difficult conversations with your friends, because if you cannot have it with your friends or your family members, you are not going to have it in the workplace. You're going to run away from problems in the workplace. If you can't have it in the workplace, how are you going to sit there? If you are with somebody who's a you lose and they win mentality, you won't be able to step up for yourself in the right way. Number two, in that moment, ask God to help, like pray over having that emotionally healthy progression of emotions. That it's okay to feel icky and uncomfortable because maybe this is the first time you're doing it, but practice makes perfect, because then when you practice having these conversations, it's normal. But don't also just the last thing I could say is, don't suffocate the person with, oh, but you're still selfish with your words. Just give them the time, step back and then let them be normal. Give them the space to also grow, and give them the space for them to recognize. And then, highlight or hint at saying that, hey, I'd really like to tell you this whole story. And I think it's a really, I would really love to tell you like this whole situation, and I'd really love to hear me. And then start talking. And then if they cut you off like they usually do, and then throw back the conversations to themselves, just tell them, hey, I wasn't finished. And then just keep telling them and say, like, this is normal. This is like a normal situation. And I don't want to run away from you because of this one thing, but I want you to understand that because I value you so much, I want to be able to share everything with you, including these deep, intrinsic things as well as the superficial things. Because having that practice will allow you to then share and maneuver in, more intimate relationships and more business and more professional relationships. And I was feeling like, imagine if we all could just get into the process of normalizing these conversations. It would make the world a so much more better place, because then because then at that point, you can accept if somebody's going to take ownership for their actions, good. If somebody refuses to take ownership for their actions, that's when you can move on. But it comes with the growth on your side to be accept and a willingness to have these moments where you want to improve the friend's life, as opposed to be like, you know what, I'll just go and get another friend. We all are not perfect. We all do something that will irritate you. But it's about building and learning from each other our needs and learning from each other our boundaries. That's what will help you live a more flourishing and a life of breakthroughs. to you guys. And thank you again for tuning in into my latest episode on having messy, healthy, constructive conversations. I hope you guys learned something from this one. You know, as I was doing this video, I just realized I have not slowed down, but it's okay, guys. I slowed down with my friends. I try, okay? And it's okay. This video is especially, I hope it is especially helpful for people who, you know, maybe struggle with just, you know, setting boundaries and then, you know, speaking up for themselves and making themselves clear. If you have any comments, any thoughts, I would love to hear them. Please leave your comments below. And be like this puppy and share with your friends. Let them know what your thoughts are. Share with your friends. And definitely do catch me on blackcouture.org, health and wellness lifestyle. Catch me on my Insta page, which is blackcouture_brand, or any of my social media. I'll link the social media links below. And then of course, this podcast couldn't be made, this YouTube channel could be made possible without my brand ambassador links. I am a brand affiliate marketer, so definitely do check out my Pinterest page and all my social medias. And thank you so much for tuning in again. And as you know, my name is Zethu Zwane. Thank you so much, and y'all have a wonderful week and have more healthy conversations with your friends, girl. Go out there and have that just growth vibe.